Hanukkah, meaning Feast of Dedication, commemorates the great victory of the Jewish people in Israel over King Antiochus Epiphanes, the pagan tyrant who tried to destroy Judaism in 165 BC. It also marks the Jews' rededication of the temple, which was defiled by Hellenists at that time. This holiday is significant for both Jews and Christians alike, since the roots of both religions were preserved through God's deliverance. Indeed, in commemoration of this event, Jesus went to the temple in Jerusalem to celebrate this holiday known then as the Feast of Dedication. Later, it became known as the Feast of Lights to celebrate the religious freedom that was attained and to remember the miracle of the burning oil lamps in the temple. Today, in synagogues across the world, Zechariah 4:6 is still read on this holiday as a reminder that not by might nor by power, but by the Lord's Spirit are his people delivered.
Shalom, all praises, glory, honor, and fear, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai B'Harakah Kodash, and much love and blessings, power, and endurance to the Lord's election. May Lord continue to shine his countenance upon thee and guide thee continually throughout all these troubling times that we're in. And also shalom to the haters, the spies, those that are seeking out our liberty that we have in Yahushai. You can't do anything against the truth before the truth. And if you show your love and you really show your love and prove your love to the Lord and to the true family, to the true believers, the true prophets, his sheep. So by you not being able to do anything against the truth before the truth, it's either you can just be a positive towards the truth or a negative towards the truth. And there's only a few that are really positive towards the Amath, towards the Yahushai, towards the example that he has laid for us. But there's way more that are actually negative towards the truth. And that's the truth. That's why it's hated. And not really expounded on, because guys act like, Esau's a white man, and they act like that's the truth. Like, the truth is real. Like, that's a part of the truth, but like, that's not the most important thing about the truth. See, Yahushai didn't even say Esau. Paul said it, once or twice. So it just shows you the most important thing about the truth is the Lord and what he is doing for the elect and not everybody else. Psalms 119 and verse 32, I will run the way of thy commandments when thou shalt enlarge my heart. So our heart is being enlarged. Our mind is being enlarged. When something is enlarged, it's made bigger, stronger, better. And by the Lord enlarging our heart with a new heart of flesh, with his mind, we're doing things that no one else could even possibly think could ever be done. We're actually doing these things. We're fulfilling these things. And, it's hidden. The work of the Lord is hidden. He's honored of the lowly, and his works are marvelous, and his works are hidden. So us as the hidden ones, we actually are getting the work done. We have the work of the Lord, and we're the ones that's doing it sincerely. Teach me, O Yahweh, the way of thy statutes, and I shall keep it unto the end. Right? So now that we're at the end, only the small sanctuary, those of us that have actually become bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh, with Yahushai, the tabernacle of David, we're the ones that are keeping these things unto the end. We're the ones that are continuing with the Lord in temptation. And the sister, man, like, it's just heavy, man. It's just the blessings upon the Lord's election. And you can't deceive the elect, number one, and number two is that you can't condemn or judge the elect. So if the Lord said, "Beware, beware of offending the Lord's little ones," there's little ones out there that truly believe the Lord and they believe in these words, in the new covenant, in the spiritual power, and the power that we're coming in. We're coming in the power. We're coming in our God. And you have others out there, they're jealous or envious. And when you offend the little ones, you're gonna drown. You're not gonna, like I said, guys, people are being negative toward the truth. You've had times false accusers and false witnesses rise up against us, rise up against the followers, against the sheep, and we had to defend the sheep. You know, the sheep hear my voice, the sheep hear Yahushua, we hear Yahushua. We're speaking constantly because our ears are open to the Lord. So it's really heavy, man. Just like so much blessing, so much love, so much charity, and I just really appreciate each and every one of you that support us, that share scriptures, that really mean it too from the heart. It's just a reminder that there's people out there that are like-minded. There's people out there that we're sealing within the new covenant, within the Lord's refuge. We're sealing them in their mind, in their forehead. So we're actually saving people to Yahushua. We're freeing them to Yahushua, and it's a powerful thing that we're doing. And everyone else, even those that might not do videos, but they have certain offices and helps too. And it all goes a long way. It's all for the perfection of the saints. Luke 22 and verse 11, and ye shall say unto the good man of the house, the master saith unto thee, where is the guest chamber where I shall eat the Passover with my disciples? And he shall show you a large upper room furnished, there make ready. And they went and found as he had said unto them, and they made ready the Passover, right? So the Lord's Supper, the Lord's Passover was different than the temples. There was no lamb. Yahushua was the lamb. So it was a new and living way, not the old dead way. That's dead, that's perishing, that's fading away. And the Lord talked about he that directs his friendship, his friend shall be like him. So as we're friends of Yahushua, because we're doing whatever he commanded us to do, the Lord said he called us friends, no longer servants, because as a servant, you don't know everything that the master is doing. The Lord called us his friends. So we really know what Yahushua is doing for us right now. And it's marvelous in our eyes. But in the eyes of the wicked, their eyes are burning. Their eyes are hurting. You know what I'm saying? They don't believe what they're seeing. They don't want to look. That's why Scripture saying Isaiah 50, 53, how Yahushua, he was rejected and despised of men, and they hid their face from him. So our people, they hide their face from Yahushua. They don't want to see the truth. They don't want to see the Lord. Sirach 6 and 14, a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such in one hath found a treasure. So the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So the scriptures talk about the prophecy in Malachi, those that feared the Lord spoke often one to another, and a book of remembrance was written for them. So we're communicating through the Spirit. We're communicating through his Urim and Thummim. We're communicating through what? The new covenant, the gospel, the true and living way, the way that leads to everlasting life and power and immortality. Sirach 6 and 15. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. You see, and that's what you need right now, because you can't know a friend in prosperity. When everything is going good, when you have everything, you can't know if your friend is really your friend. You only know a real friend when things are going bad, when you don't have anything. Then you know who your real friends are, who's going to stick around you. A lot of our people, they're in the spirit of themselves. All they care about is themselves. So they wanna win. They wanna get a lot of shit and get this and get that. But then they don't help their friend out. They don't help their neighbor out. They don't share the food. They just keep it all to themselves. They're covetous. So guys are in the spirit of themselves and serving themselves, right? They serve their own bellies. They feed themselves. They don't feed the flock, and that's what we're dealing with. So we're the only ones that have love. We're the only ones that have compassion for the sheep, and actually want to see our people raise up. And this is why we freely we've given, we freely we give. It says, a faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. So the reason we found each other is because we all fear the Lord. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright, for as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. So as you are, your neighbor is going to mimic you. He's going to be symbolic. So as you're a rider, well, guess what? Your neighbor, your brethren, your sister is going to be a rider too. So that's what the phalanx was all about in the 300. Everyone that was a part of the 300, they weren't just fighting for themselves to save themselves. They were fighting for the man on their left and on their right. So it was a one body, you see? And this is what we are in Yahushua right now. And when you go to Ecclesiastes as well, I just want to give one more, because we love wisdom and wisdom is dwelling with us, and that's why we're so stable right now. We're unmovable. We're abounding in the work of the Lord, and it's beautiful. It's powerful. Ecclesiastes 11:15. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law are of the Lord. Love and the way of good works are from him, right? The gospel is called the good news. And we're not the only ones that love and have been seeking the Lord in wisdom. There's also the hearers too that are accepting this new song that we're singing that no one else can sing but us. So like these camps are not singing the new song. This dude Shire Moth, man, Remnant Saved, man, they're not singing the new song. That title he put, the new song, they don't have the new song. They have the fake new song of the synagogue of Satan, which they call camps. You see what I'm saying? And they're keeping you away from Yahushua. They're keeping you away from the key of knowledge. They're not entering into the kingdom of heaven, and they're hindering anyone else that would want to enter in. So Wisdom of Solomon 6:12. Wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away. Yes, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek her. So when you love the Lord all your heart, which is the first and most powerful commandment, and then you love your neighbor as yourself, is being able to see the power right now of the word, see the power of the Holy Spirit, see the power of being in the new covenant, see the power of confessing your faults. Romans 10:10, with the mouth, confession is made unto salvation, roughly paraphrasing, but words hold weight. They hold power, especially when you mean it and you believe it. You see? So by us saying we're the elect, well, guess what? We've been through a whole lot. And we know that we're not like everybody else. We're different. We're very different. By a long run, we're different. So the Lord said in the latter days, right? Then it shall be known who are my chosen. 2 Ezra 16:76. So the ones that know that they're chosen the most are the chosen ones. The Lord said, I have chosen you, you have no chosen me. We didn't choose the Lord. I didn't choose this life. You know what I'm saying? Even in when I was my young 20s and my old, I never really thought this was what I was going to be doing with my life. Even people around me, my family, they would say, oh, you're going to be on the highways and byways until you're old. And like in my mind at that time, because I was like, in the camp, vibe, I was like, well, if I have to, yeah. But see, now that we're more mature, like that was only for a moment, being on the highways and byways, going out there and preaching. But that chapter has closed. There's a time and place for everything. That time has passed. Now we're in the time at the end where wisdom, the Lord, the elect, we're hiding ourselves for a little moment. We're refraining from embracing until the indignation be overpassed. Then shall wit hide itself. So this is what's happening. It's wisdom is going into its secret chambers, which the secret chamber is the new heart of flesh in the spirit, in the word. The refuge is in the word. Seek wisdom. Right here it is, right here. Ecclesiastes 24 and 34 says, verse 31, I said I will water my best garden, right? So the Garden of Eden is symbolic to the elect. We have the Lord on our side. We're not ashamed of what God created. We're not ashamed of ourselves. We're naked. You see? But the Lord is clothing us with his righteousness. You see? With those right robes in Revelation. It says, I said I will water my best garden and will water abundantly my garden bed. And lo, my brook became a river, and my river became a sea. See, so us as a small sanctuary, the Lord said in Zechariah 4 and 10, who hath despised the day of small things? So the Lord said, don't be ignorant of anything small or great. So we weren't great. We're not great millstone and double honored and, praise and worship of men. We're not. We worship the Lord. And what's heavy is we're small. We're looked at as small. Oh, they don't have a lot of followers. They don't have this. They don't have that. But the little that we have is so immense because the Lord is increasing us. The Lord, just like the 7 loaves and the few bread of fish. It was only a little bit. It was barely enough to feed all his disciples. They gave it to Yahushai. Yahushai multiplied it. It fed thousands of people, and there was still some left over. So this is what the Lord is doing with our little basket. Just like the parable of the woman, she only gave the little of the little she had. But even though the little that she had, she put in more than those that had so much, and they put in so much more. But it wasn't out of love. It wasn't from the heart, you see? And this is what the Lord's surrounding us with. And if you don't have love, if you don't have that humbleness and meekness, then the Lord's going to get that shit away from us. You see? Easy. It says, I will yet make doctrine to shine as the morning and will send forth her light afar off. I will yet pour out doctrine as prophecy and leave it to all ages forever. Behold, that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom. You see, so this is a labor of love. The Lord said, I go to prepare a place for you. So the place is already prepared, and it's in our heart. You see, the kingdom of heaven is inside of you. So this is very powerful revelations, and the Lord, he's enlarging our heart to receive the heavier matters and more heavier things, So the word enlarge says to grow, to be roomy, pasture, right? Make large. Become spacious, right? It also says to open the mouth wide, right? And the Lord, he's filling our mouth. To open anyone's heart to instruction, right? So that's very important. Because a lot of men's hearts aren't open to the Lord. They're closed. They still have the heart of stone. So stone is like, it's symbolic of being impenetrable. You see? Heavy. Even he told Moses, open that mouth wide and I will fill it. So he's filling it with his words. And a lot of guys are not really speaking the words of power. They deny the power thereof. They deny God. There's no God inside of them. It's crazy. It is heavy what's happening right now. It's only a few of us that actually can see. And for those of us that can see power, we're able to bless each other and help each other and comfort one another with these words. And, we're not the only ones going through all this, tough situations. And we're not alone. The Lord's with us. The Spirit's with us, And 1 Kings 4:29, and God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the East Country and all the wisdom of Egypt, right? All the wisdom of the world. And what did Yahushua said? A greater than Solomon is here. So what's happening right now? A greater than Solomon is here. Yahushua is here, alive and well, speaking in the midst of us, where we are gathered, 2 or 3. Psalms 18 and verse 36. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip. I had pursued mine enemies and overtaken them, neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I have wounded them that were not able to rise. They are fallen under my feet. Whew. So Lord, he said to his Lord, right? Yahweh said unto Yahushai, sit at his right hand till he make his enemies his footstool. So we play a big role of making the Lord, his enemies, his footstool. You see, we're putting them under our feet. Where the Lord said, we shall trample and trodden on scorpions and vipers and snakes. So all these guys that are snakes and scorpions and make covenants with death and Esau and shit, and trust in him and run to him and believe in him and all that shit, they get trampled and trodden by our feet. You see? So Lord, he has a very powerful spirit upon us to chase away the wicked, the wolves from the sheep, so that the only thing that will remain is the shepherd and the sheep. Job 36 and verse 15. He delivereth the poor in his affliction, and openeth their ears in oppression. Even so would he have removed thee out of the strait into a broad place where there is no straightness. So we're going through the straight gate right now so that we can inherit the broad. We can inherit the world, all the riches. But see, it comes with a process. You have to be humbled, and you have to be meek, and you have to be faithful with the little that you have. You see, and that which should be set on thy table should be full of fatness. But thou hast fulfilled the judgment of the wicked. Judgment and justice take hold on thee. See, so judgment is falling upon our people. 2 Ezra 7. I want to read this passage here because this goes more deeper into how those of us that are entering in one by one, following the voice, following each other as we follow Yahushai, like Paul said, we're not followers of men, we're not pleasers of men, no, but we're following the Spirit, we're following the Lamb. Those of us that have consumed the Lamb, have eaten of the Lamb. Lord said, eat this roll and then go teach. So we've eaten the Lamb. We have the word in us, Yahushua in us. So we're following that Spirit. The Lord talked about how his voice was as the rushing in of many waters. So this is what the Lord said when he said, John 7:38, he that believes on me, as scriptures say, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water, right? Just we read earlier in Sirach how, it became as a river, but then after a river, it became a sea. It became way bigger than just a river. So we're really taking over, man. And it's really heavy. 2 Ezra 7, verse 9. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? And I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of the world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. See, so you have to go through that to get back to that glory of the beginning without sin. It says they are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. Right? So you need to labor. If then they that live, if they then, it's like if then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, right? So this labor of love hurts. You see, love is about sacrifice. So this labor we're doing, you need to work with your hands. You see, a lot of our people, they've just sold out. They don't have jobs, man. These guys don't have jobs. They don't even work. See, those of you that are real out there and you realize like how our life is very structured, it's very disciplined, it's very military, and like, we don't have like, but these guys are sold out. They have all this free time just to like lead our people away from the Lord. It's crazy. That's what they're getting paid to do. So I was reading the scripture earlier. Set him to labor. Set him to labor. The Lord said in Sirach about a child that is lukewarm or lazy and shit. Sirach 33 and verse 25. It says, if thou set thy servant to labor, thou shalt find rest. But if thou let him go idle, he shall seek liberty. A yoke and a collar do bow the neck, so are tortures and torments for an evil servant. Here's a point, 27. It says, send him to labor, that he be not idle, for idleness teacheth much evil. Set him to work as is fit for him. If he be obedient, if he be not obedient, put on more heavy fetters. You see, so the Lord said if a man doesn't work, he won't eat. So you need to labor with your hands. When Elijah found Elisha, he wasn't just taking handouts and not doing shit. He was plowing with 12 oxen, bro. Go and try to plow a land, right, to plant seeds. Try to till the earth, right, with one oxen or two oxen, and see how hard that is. Elijah found Elisha. He was working. He was tilling the ground with 12 oxen, bro. Power. And they both recognized each other. Real recognized real. They didn't have to fucking doubt and all these fucking 21 questions and shit. Man, bro, that shit became me the most irritated, man. The Lord said they dote about with questions and strifes. It's crazy. Second Ezra 7 in verse 15. Now therefore why disquietest thou thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man, and why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Right, so what the angel was telling Ezra is like, you need to worry, you need to focus on the now, the present. See, our people, they're too focused on the future and, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But they're not living in their present. They're not living in the now. So they don't realize, like, things are already being fulfilled. Prophecies are already being fulfilled. Things, you know what I'm saying? It's just, like, heavy. It's just, it says, then answered I and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, that hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish. Now here's the point, verse 18. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for wide. Right? We're going to hope for 100-fold in everlasting life. Everything the Lord promised us. For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. Now, let me get real quick the definition of wide, right? The word wide is fully open. So the Lord, he's fully opening up our understanding, and the door is fully open unto us. It's heavy. Isaiah 60:5. Then shalt thou see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged. Heavy. Let me read a little bit up. Isaiah 60:4. Lift up thine eyes, run about and see. All they gather themselves together, they come to thee. Thy son shall come from afar, and thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged. See, there it is again. Because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. So the world fighteth for the righteous, and we're going to inherit all nations. We're going to rule them over the rod of iron, and it's happening. It's all happening right now. It's heavy. Because we've humbled ourselves. We chose in the lower seat. Proverbs 25:7. For better it is that it be said to thee, come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince whom thy eyes have seen. So guys, they're being abased because they've exalted themselves instead of what they should have done was exalting the Lord in his words, what he said to do. Not what camps and what elders said to do. They're telling you to do things that's not profitable for you. Revelation 4:1. After this I looked, and behold, a door was open. You see, fully opened, wide. We're going through the straight gate, and we're going to inherit the wide. The door being fully open for us. You know, many mansions in his kingdom, right? In his Father's kingdom, many mansions. A door was open in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, come up hither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter. So we have our heart in heavenly places. You know, that's what we're seeking. Revelation 22:17. And this is what the Spirit, this is what we're saying. This is what the Lord is saying. This is what the prophets were saying, the servants of the Lord, the voice, the angel. We're all saying the same thing. It's heavy. Revelation 22:17. And the Spirit and the bride. We're the bride. That's how we're in agreement with the Lord, the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. It says, come and let him that heareth say, come. And let him that is athirst come. See, come. Everyone, whoever can hear it, whoever can see it, whoever believes it, come. See, these camps, what they say? No more members in this camp. No more members in GMS and this and that and all this shit. Because they're trying to make you jealous that you're not in their camp. Like their camp is the elect. Like their camp is the third temple, but it's not. So we're breaking the weak understanding that our people have of this truth, where they think that it's about pleasing men and pleasing elders and following men that are in quote unquote camps. These camps are synagogues of Satan, and I was talking to the brother earlier, man, and it's so true. All the information that they have, bro, and all like the history and all this shit that they teach and shit, and like, you know, the way they teach prophecies, like, yes, some of it is true, but when you're leaving out the most important thing, that all that shit you're talking about is vain. You see, it's deception. It's you're doing the work of the Lord deceitfully, so you're cursed. You're perverting the gospel. You're cursed. It's heavy, man. It says and let him that is athirst come, and whosoever will, let him take the water of life freely. Heavy. So guys, they've made merchandise of this truth, man. They are in trouble. These guys say Jacob trouble ain't here yet. Let them tell you. Jacob's trouble ain't here yet. Jacob's trouble is here right now, right here. And they're the ones that are in trouble. You guys are in trouble with the Father, man, of spirits. See, they're not in the spirit, so they're not telling you to come. You know what they're telling you? Oh, don't come, don't come, don't. You can't go, you can't go. You can't be chosen. You can't be the elect. You have to be the hopeful. Like, you don't know that yet. How do you know that? How do you know that? The spirit of truth, of the anointing, and no man needs to teach you. If you don't have any faith or trust that you the elect, or you have any power, spiritual power, you can't teach us anything. The only thing you can teach us is what not to be like. You can be an example of what not to be like. You can teach us, it's just crazy, man. Proverbs 18 and verse 16. Proverbs 18 and 15. The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. A man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. And like, okay, the word great, man, we really disdain that word, but excellent men, the reason why they're excellent is because they're humble. They're humble. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at any of these like Western movies or superhero movies or like movies where there's heroism, the men that save and get the victory, they go through a lot of pain. They go through a lot of hate, misunderstanding, and humility. You know, like Peter Parker, he's a good example. He went through a whole lot of loss and pain and sadness and sorrow, but he had that power, that inheritance. You know, a man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. Right. So us that have the gifts of the Spirit, we're being brought to the Lord talked about in Hebrews. He said how do you say that? I think it's in Hebrews congregation. Hebrews 1. Right. Hebrews 1 and verse. Hebrews 12 and 22. But ye are come unto Mount Zion, and unto the city of a living power, the heavenly Jerusalem, into an innumerable company of angels. Woo! Yeah, man. So we keep good company, even if sometimes the company is just us being all alone. So you are the company that you keep, and we are angels. We also have the message of the Lord. So it's heavy. It says, to the general assembly and church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, into God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect. Right? We've been made perfect through our sufferings for Yahushai, for believing. The reason why they crucified Yahushai is because he said he was a Messiah. So when you say what you are, right? Yahushua was basically saying he was that prophet. He was that guy. He was that king that would come. But he didn't come like them and oppressing our people. He was freeing our people. He showed the example of being a servant unto all. You see? So that's another reason why he was so misunderstood and hated by the haughty and proud and arrogant Pharisees and scribes and temple, because they acted like they knew everything. So like I said, like these guys, they know a whole lot, but it's just because they have all the archives and relics, because they sold out to Esau. So Esau, who is their father, he's given them certain knowledge of certain things. But when it comes to the knowledge of Yahushua and the new heart of flesh, they have no part of that. So So that is heavy. Luke 16 and verse 10 says, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. So we're faithful in the little that we have. So we're also faithful in much. And this is why the Lord is increasing us. And he's getting us prepped and ready to inherit the kingdom and take the kingdom which we are, and to be faithful with much. To much is required, much is given. So, you know, the true priests, when you go into the book of Maccabees, one of my favorite stories is the priest Onias. And he basically was in control of the treasury, and he used that treasury for good, for the good of the people. But you had these wicked Israelites, they was plotting on the riches, and they wanted his seat. They wanted to be the priest, and because they wanted control of the treasury, but they weren't going to use it for the good like Onias was. They were going to use it to just steal from our people and just use it for themselves to get themselves rich. So like you see these rappers and celebrities, like they sign contracts where like they get so damn much money, but like really it's not even theirs, because they don't have any freedom with it. They can't they really can't give it back to our people and put it towards like good, you see, because okay, like you can have a large sum of money and like put it back to your neighborhood or whatever, but like that's just building up this world. See, but when you put it towards the good, I'm talking about, you know, this truth and the Lord, and promoting godliness and, you know, repentance, and that can't slide. So the reason they do that is because that's how they control our people. You know, that's how they control our people, to keep on selling their soul to the world and Satan, so that everyone will look up to these famous and celebrities and shit. So it you know, our people always look up to them instead of looking up to the Lord and to the true men of the Lord, his examples that he sent. You see, he says, and he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. So, you know, in these last days, man, it's very easy if you're in the spirit to pinpoint and see if someone is unjust or if they're faithful in the little things. And it goes a long way. It says, if therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? And if you have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own? Heavy. So the true riches is the Lord, is that's the true riches. And that's why the Lord said he knows our poverty, but we're rich. You know, rich in spirit, and the spirit gives life. That's what's going to endure these times. So people that put their trust and they worship money and Caesar, they're going to die with it. They're going to die with it because they've been given up over into idolatry. So it's really heavy, man. Sirach 10 and 30. The poor man is honored for his skill, and the rich man is honored for his riches. He that is honored in poverty, how much more in riches? And he that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty? Right. You know, whenever the prophets were helped or blessed, whoever it was that blessed them or helped them, they got blessed. They got helped where money couldn't really help or save. So, like, it's heavy. So those that really believe in these last days, they're going to show and they're going to prove how they believe, and they're going to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Out of a pure heart, out of just, you know, love. And it's going to go a long way. It really is. Ecclesiastes, man, it's a beautiful thing to have the Lord. It's a beautiful thing to have faith. It's a beautiful thing to have trust and love. and understanding in this time, man, because we actually are the only ones that have a sound mind. While everyone else don't have sound minds, their mind is full of trouble and doubt and question, and you know what I'm saying. But we have a sound mind, and we don't put our trust in anything of this carnal, physical, evil world. So it's heavy. It's heavy, man. So yeah, it's heavy, man. Sirach 14:1 says, "Blessed is the man that hath not slipped with his mouth, and is not pricked with a multitude of sins. Blessed is he whose conscience hath not condemned him, and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord. Riches are not comely for a niggard, and what should an envious man do with money?" You see, so what envious men do with money, they just waste it, and it doesn't go to anything good. So he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others, that shall spend his good righteously. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. Right? So guys and they hate themselves. You see, so someone that hates themselves, you think they're gonna be able to love someone else? No. So this is a payback. This is what they get in return for their wickedness. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. So now in the last days, everyone is declaring their wickedness, and only the few are declaring their righteousness. With that, all praises, glory, honor, and faith. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Baharakak Wadash Abad Babal. Hey, Shalom.